What is up, guys? Random internet person here, back in the F-14 again today. Like I said the last video, the reason that I was flying the F-14 in the first place was to re-familiarize myself with it because I haven't flown it in a while, specifically so that we could play this campaign, which is the Zone 5 campaign by Reflected Simulations. I have done the first mission, which is just an arrival into Nellis, cold playing the second mission, which is going to be, I believe, a 1v1 fight. And if you guys don't know, Dave Baronic, who callsign bio was an F-14 Rio and was a Top Gun instructor back in the 80s for a couple years. He provided a lot of technical support to Greg from Reflected Simulations to do this, as well as voiceovers and briefing information. There's tons of documentation that comes with the campaign that you can peruse at your leisure, and there's one for each hop. I kind of skimmed over it the other day. I'm not going to read this because Baronic, or Bio, is going to read this and give us a briefing as we're arriving to Nellis. And this is basically what we're going to be doing here. So we got waypoint 1, 2, and 3, which is literally just an arrival back into Nellis. Strike, gas peak, apex, and then straight in for runway 21 lefts. Here's the pattern break. So runway 21, traffic entering from apex, which is going to be us, has priority over traffic entering from flex or gas peak. Fly the initial to inside the runway, 3,500 MSL, 300 knots, and we're going to break to the west, which is going to be a right break, and then we're going to land 21 left. That's pretty much it. Our parking is down here. So going to be probably off at Bravo, hopefully, if we have a good landing. Taxi to Foxtrot to park. And then on for the rest of it. Really cool. Greg has done an incredible amount of work for this. I know from my perspective, I make my own missions and stuff, but they're all pretty simple. There's not a lot of triggers. And he has put in specific radio frequencies that play messages on each one. He even has a dedicated ATIS, which I believe here is channel 11. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Definitely, if you're into that immersion stuff, 10 out of 10 so far. But like I said, I've only done the first mission. So we're going to do the first mission, which is the arrival, and then we're going to do hop 1 together. Hopefully, it'll be a success. Let's give her a go. What's going on with the rudder situation here? ICS volume, we'll get rid of Jester, bye. Also, completely custom liveries for this.
Welcome to Zone 5. I'm Dave Baronic, callsign bio. I have 2,500 flight hours as an F-14 Rio and was a Top Gun instructor for 2.5 years in the 1980s. Recently, I've written several books that describe my experiences as an F-14 Rio and fighter tactics and weapons instructor. My website is topgunbio.com. The Navy started its fighter weapons school in 1969 to improve the training of its fighter pilots and Rios. The program quickly showed its value with a dramatic improvement in the kill ratio over Vietnam. The program has a continuing mission, working to improve U.S. fighter tactics and ensuring that Navy and Marine Corps fighter aircrews are among the best trained in the world. I've teamed up with Reflected Simulations to bring the fighter tactics and weapons experience to DCS. The title of this campaign, Zone 5, refers to the maximum afterburner of the engines in the F-14A. You will be using max burner a lot in these engagements. The time is 1987, shortly after F-16s joined the fleet of adversaries. To help introduce the new jet and to further its mission, we arranged a fleet support program, inviting one aircrew from 2 squadrons at Miramar and 2 squadrons at Oceana for a series of flights. You must be good because you were one of the pilots selected from Miramar.
Oh, thanks.
Your name is Lieutenant Jim Bozo Kirby, and your Rio is Lieutenant Frank Jester Hunter, and you are from the VF-28 Avengers. This part is important. Your call sign for the duration of this program is Sniper 3.
Hell yeah.
Your wingman, Sniper 4, is from the VF-65 Buzzards. Crew is Pilot Lieutenant Ron Hammer Matthews, and his Rio is Lieutenant Hank Dice Dorman. Sniper 1 comes from the VF-4 Horsemen, Lieutenant Kenny Lingus O'Brien, and Lieutenant Ed Vampire McCloskey. Completing your team is Sniper 2 from VF-221 Galactics, Lieutenant Paul Inch Morgan, and Lieutenant Tom Lefty White. You've received several lectures to help you prepare for these flights. I hope you were paying attention. You've also had access to reference material on weapons and tactics. You will fly 11 hops that increase in complexity, starting with 1 versus 1 or 1v1, where you will test your air combat maneuvering skills against a single bandit. You will progress through flights where your section, that is 2 Tomcats, will perform realistic fighter missions and fight an increasingly challenging bandit presentation. You will then move into division events, where you will be one of 4 Tomcats against an unknown number of bandits. The program will conclude with 2 special events that will be briefed later. You'll be flying the F-14 Tomcat, the Navy's premier air-to-air platform. As you learned in the RAG, you can never have enough thrust, so energy management will be important, no matter which Tomcat variant you're flying. Rios will be working their magic with the good old AUG-9. While it's not the newest radar in the world, it has proven capabilities. In keeping with the 1987 setting, we will only use AIM-54s on a few of these flights. In those days, the Phoenix was mostly reserved for fleet air defense, but that was changing. Even with your impressive Tomcat, you must execute precisely. We will challenge you during the intercept phase of the engagement, and we will evaluate all aspects of your performance. In the end, it will not be about winning or losing. Our goal is to make you better training officers so you can increase the combat lethality of your squadron. But we also like to win, so good luck. We spent months putting this program together, and then last week Miramar informed us they will be closed for flight ops for 2 weeks. I don't know if they are installing a new sewer line or testing atomic missiles. Fortunately, our Air Force brothers at Nellis were able to accommodate us. So, welcome to Nellis. You will be spending the next 3 weeks here, and you will spend a lot of that time in Zone 5.
Nice. So let me check that out. ATIS was 11. Channel 11.
Niner 50. Nosing. Departure runway 03 right. Arrival runway 21 left. Visual approach is in use. Advise on initial contact. You have information November.
Information November, 21
Nellis
left.
Information November. 0015 Zulu. Wind 210 at 6 knots. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Few clouds at 8,000. Temperature 70. Dew point 35. Altimeter 2950.
Set.
Nosig. Departure runway 03 right. Arrival runway 21 left. Visual approach is in use. Advise on initial contact. You have information November.
Alright, Bozo. We'll be landing at Nellis in less than 10 minutes.
Hopefully.
Oh, well, it's about damn time. I can really use an ice-cold Miller right now. Word. I'll check in with approach.
So button 6 is approach. I already got that on there.
Nellis approach, November Gulf 207 at last peak with November for the overhead full stop.
Oh, there's Vegas right there. Jeez, we're super high.
November Golf 207, radar contact. Continue inbound Nellis. Expect the overhead runway 21 left to contact Nellis Tower at the initial. November Golf 207, Wilco.
Alright, tower is on 4. There is Nellis. 2-1 left. Got the altar lights there and the poppies. Get her slowed down.
271, proceed direct apex, resume Arco straight in, compliance restrictions.
That's that's what I'm talking about. He's got these recorded messages on these specific radio frequencies, which is...
King 71, contact tower.
Alright, let's switch it over to tower, channel... Tower. 4. And coming up on initial points, I'll start that turn in here. So we're aiming for 300 knots, 3,500 MSL, over 2-1 left, and we're going to brake to the west, which is going to be to our right. So 300 knots there. On 6,000, still a little high. Contact tower.
Nellis Tower, November Golf 207, initial for the overhead full stop. November Golf 207, Nellis Tower, clear for the overhead runway 21 left. November Golf 207.
This is Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I got this map specifically for this campaign. I got it on sale last time, and it's actually pretty neat. I mean, it's probably limited in terms of what types of missions that you would do, just sort of geopolitically, but looks really good. I think it looks better, honestly, than Persian Gulf does, texture-wise, mountain-wise. Also got little race cars driving around down here. You can actually see them there. Alrighty, coming up 300 knots, missed our altitude, 3,500. Vegas skyline down there, that's neat. Alright, braking to the west. We should get a checklist from Jester. Looking for 250. 250 gear. Flaps. And DLC. Leave that speed brake set.
Wings. 20 degrees. Auto. Gear. 3 down and locked. Flaps.
Set.
Full down. DLC.
Deployed.
Engaged. Hook.
Up.
Up. Harness locked. Locked. November Golf 207, abeam, gear, full stop. November Golf 207, clear to land 21 left, wind 210 at 6. Clear to land 21 left. Speed brakes. Out. Brakes. Brakes checked. Accumulator pressure up. Spoiler brake selected. Fuel. Checked. welcome to Nellis. Local time is 17:45, temperature 70 degrees. On behalf of the United States Navy and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you again on board in the near future. Now take me to the O Club. November Golf 207, Nellis Tower, clear the active via Bravo, contact ground. November Golf 207, Wilco.
This should be Bravo. Right on the numbers back there. Ground is channel 3. There we go, past the hold shorts. And contact ground. Let's get it on 3.
Active on Bravo. November Golf 207, Nellis ground, taxi Bravo to Foxtrot. Taxi Bravo to Foxtrot, November Golf 207.
Taxi to park via Bravo, then Foxtrot. November Golf 207. Somebody coming in there. Go ahead and YOLO it here. There's Foxtrot, and we are parking to the left. Looking for Tomcat. These nerds. There we go. There she is. Let's go, boys. All right. Hey. More Tomcats. Not gonna lie, I wish we had that black and red tail livery. I like the high-vis more than I do like the generic gray for the Tomcats, but it is period specific, so I guess in 87 they've kind of done away already with the high-vis liveries. Also, 1 year after Top Gun, the movie came out, man, actual Top Gun F-14 pilots have been legends. Look at that. That's a cool livery. Heck yeah, let's go. All right, quits and take 3 with this. DCS does not play well after 2.7. I just get a lot of random crashes whenever I restart and stuff like that, and then Jester just seemed to have glitched out a second ago, so let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work this time, I quit. Ground crew, ground electric power on.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now on.
There we go, ground power, anti-collisions, master light switch. Ground crew, ground air supply, connect.
Chief, connect ground air supply. Copy.
1-2 X-ray for the
Ground air
Nellis,
supply is
VOR,
now
the TACAN, and ADIS, channel 11.
1345 Zulu. Wind 210 at 10 knots. Visibility greater than 10 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 70. Dew point 32. Altimeter 2963. No zig. Departure runway 03
pressure.
right. Arrival runway 21 left. Visual approach is in use. Advise on initial contact. You have information Alpha.
Information Alpha, winds 210
Nellis
at 10,
information Alpha.
and we're taking off runway 3 right. Goes to channel 2 to check in, and let's get this thing started.
Okay. ICS comm check. Roger. Closing canopy. Check. Ready to start.
Turbine inlet temperature stabilizing, right gens are on, ground electric power. Disconnect.
Chief, turn off the ground power.
Anti-skid on both, hook bypass on field, and we'll go ahead and get our ALR 67 and VDI, HUD, and the HSD. Engine number 1. Button 2, ready. Already checked the ATIS. Two good starts, left gen's on. Left bleed, right bleed. Both. Ground air supply,
Chief, disconnect ground air supply.
AFCS, we're good, reset.
Okay.
Knee board. So reviewing, this is our departure procedure. It's got the equivalent waypoint. So RAM, I believe, is going to be at or above 16,000. Gate 6 is Moose. It's a fixed point at or above 19. Elks, Gate 5. And we're going to be following the F5. So this isn't too big of a deal, but I think for the next flight and all the subsequent ones, we're going to be leading this. So hopefully this will make sense to us shortly. Also, departure procedures 21 right or 03 right is going to be radial 028. So I've already got the TACAN set to 12 X-ray for us. TACAN course 028. And it's got all these departure, or these instrument approach plates. Pretty much all the procedures in Las Vegas. Be interested to try one of these. So I know that there's one high tack in runway 21 left has a DME arc there. That would be a fun one to do. Get back to the page that I need for this mission. That one. Now it's moving. All right, Jester seems to be doing his job now. ICS. There we go. One thing I know for certain, 1v1 against the F5, particularly in this configuration with no drop tanks or the Phoenix pylons, we are going to outmaneuver and outperform the F5. So I've got no excuses.
Ready to taxi.
There we go, ready to taxi. We'll check in. We're on button 2. Let's go.
Sniper 3 ready. Nellis clearance Outlaw 42 flight ready to copy clearance to North 1 with information Alpha.
Nice.
Outlaw 42 Nellis clearance cleared North 1 via the Dream 2 departure, then it's file. Squawk 6001 sequential, departure frequency will be 273.55. Squawk 6001 sequential, departure 273.55, Outlaw 42. Outlaw 42, read that correct. Contact ground on 275.8 prior to taxi. Outlaw 42.
Over to ground, channel 3. Already there, bud.
Outlaw check. 2. Nellis ground, Outlaw 42, flight ready for taxi with Alpha. Outlaw 42, Nellis ground, taxi Foxtrot Alpha, cross runway 03 left, hold short 03 right.
Alright, taxi Foxtrot Alpha cross 03 left,
Cross 03
right.
left, hold short 03 right, Outlaw 42.
Let's go.
Outlaw 42, rolling.
2 rolling.
Sniper 3 rolling. Takeoff checklist, brakes. Check OK, accumulator pressure up. Fuel. At normal feed, auto transfer, dump off. Feed tanks full. Bingo set. Canopy down, lights out. Lights out up here. Seat arms, top and bottom, command eject aft. I'm armed, top and bottom, showing MCO in the window. SAS. All on. All circuit breakers set. All miners set. Master test. All 142 flight switch tower. Bye die.
Tower on 4. We already got our clearance to cross 3 left, so we're just going to yeet it across here. shorts.
Normal. Compass. Compass synced. Standby gyro is erect. Wings.
We're shaking for it.
20 degrees, auto, both lights out. Flaps and slats. Up. Spoilers and anti-skid. Spoiler module on, spoiler brake selected. Trim. Set 0, 0, 0. Harness locked. Lights locked. Controls. I'll get it on the runway. All warning and caution lights out. Fighter out. Ready to go? Ready. Long check. 2. Nellis Tower, outbound 42, holding short runway 03 right for departure. Flight of 2.
I think we're in his jet blast or something.
Outbound 42, Nellis Tower, wind 210 at 10, clear for takeoff, runway 03 right. Clear for takeoff 03 right, outbound 42.
Go ahead and shut gesture up for the time being too. Outbound 42, flight, go button 6. 2. Long check. 2. Nellis departure, outbound 42, flight with you, northbound. Outbound 42, Nellis departure, radar identified, climb 7,000, maintain 250 knots, collar heading 344, over truck stopped and resume on navigation. 7,000, maintain 250 knots, follow heading 344, over truck stopped, outbound 42. 2, this is what we call the Dream 2 departure. We intercept Las Vegas 028 radial, we climb to 7,000 feet. We'll turn left to intercept the Boulder 344 radial. We'll climb to pass Juno at or above 17,000 feet. Then we'll turn east to enter the Elgin corridor. Our route will take us over Ram, Moose, and Elks. And then we'll enter the range at Gate 4 at Bighorn. Roger that. We're right behind you.
Attention to brief. This is the first flight of the Zone 5 campaign. The scenario is 1v1, one fighter versus one bandit. Sniper 3, you will be fighting Gator in Outlaw 4-2, and after this briefing you can get together with him for details. To simplify maintenance support, we only brought our F-16s and F-5s on this jet, so you will not see the A-4 Skyhawk. On this first flight, you'll face the F-5 Tiger II, which is a good simulator of the MiG-21. As far as weapons, both aircraft will use internal guns only. This will provide you with the most engaged time and the most intense learning experience. You've already had the Nellis course rules lecture, so you should be comfortable operating here. But since this is your first flight of the program, Gator will be the lead. Your call sign will be Outlaw 42-2. The Bandit will only lead this event. In the future, you or your wingman will be the flight lead. Before you arrive at the range, you will need to perform a G-awareness maneuver, or G-warm. This is a requirement before every ACM training flight. I'm sure you do them in your squadron, and here's what we expect. You will be flying at least 300 knots, preferably 350. When cleared, slide out 2 miles abeam. When you're stabilized, begin a smooth, firm pull to at least 4G and hold it for 90 degrees of turn. In case you're wondering, turn towards your flight lead. Ease the G in reverse, then again pull to at least 4G. Be sure to maintain sight throughout these maneuvers. When you've completed your second turn, call complete on the radio. Gator will knock out his G-awareness maneuver when he can. Gator will check in with Blackjack, the range controller, and Showtime, the range training officer, at Gate 4, Bighorn. Then you will proceed to Point India. Once in the area, Gator will establish you at 23,000 feet and 350 knots. He will tell you to take separation, and you'll move out to 1.5 miles. When you're established and ready to begin the fight, call speed in. Gator will then call for tape recorders and fight time. Give it your best turn-in to accomplish the head-on pass. I'm sure you've already thought about your game plan, but be ready to evaluate what the bandit is doing. He may make a move that causes you to change your plan. Your F-14 is superior to the F-5 in almost every measure, but he can challenge you by giving up energy for angles, to intimidate you, or maybe get a shot, and by taking advantage of any mistakes you make. If the F-5 appears to be gaining, evaluate his energy as discussed in the 1v1 lecture. I hope you watched that video in preparing for this program. We expect you to operate as a crew. Rios, be ready to operate the dogfight mode to the radar, to tell your pilot airspeed, or do whatever it takes to make your Tomcat more lethal. In future events, we'll have a scenario and you'll be assigned a fighter mission, but not this time. The purpose of this flight is to concentrate on your close-in maneuvering skills. The first fight will continue until Gator calls knock it off, unless you experience a safety issue or run low on fuel. Then you can call knock it off. After the knock it off, Gator will get a fuel check from you and then expect to re-establish the start parameters for the second engagement. When Gator calls RTB, join up and he will lead you back to Nellis. Remember, go ahead and switch the master arm on and actually take the shot at the bandit. It's a game and it's cool to blow stuff up. And the bandit pilot, well, he'll be okay and he'll join you later at the club. Good luck.
Alright, so we're actually going to shoot it.
Let's review the training rules. We need 5 miles visibility and 15,000 feet between cloud layers. Hard deck is 500 feet. Soft deck is 5,000 feet. There's no slow speed, high AOA maneuvering below the soft deck. Of note, these numbers are for the game. The decks in actual flying are higher. You need to perform a G-awareness maneuver before starting ACM. All aircraft need operable UHF, and ICS if two-seaters, and must monitor guard. Nordo aircraft, rock your wings and proceed to Coyote B, orbit at 15,000 feet. If no one joins on you, follow the Nordo recovery procedures in the in-flight guide. Remember, monitor showtime and blackjack frequencies while on the range. There's a 500-foot bubble around all aircraft. 9,000 feet is the minimum for head-on aim 9 shots. There's a 1,000-foot minimum for guns, and no head-on gun shots. Head-on, pass left to left, but don't cross flight path to get there. Nose-high aircraft goes high. Upsun aircraft is responsible for collision avoidance. Offensive aircraft monitor the altitude of defensive aircraft. Don't make blind lead turns. Echo all knock-it-off calls. If someone's approaching guns on you, don't dispense flares. An additional note, monitor your fuel closely, and remember we have 2 tankers on station if you get low on fuel. The details are on your kneeboard cards. There's no need to push the limits. Now take a minute to go through the stall spin procedures for your aircraft.
Tucked up in there real nice. Game plan with the F5, tiny wings, it loses energy pretty quick. I mean, you can get the nose around, but if you are going to do that, you're sacrificing that energy state, and it's hard to get it back. So, if I can force them to go nose high.
Alright, Bozo, we're approaching the range. Let's do the G1.
To do it towards the lead, but if I do that, that's going to be a little hard. Let's go to the right. 4 Gs, 90 degrees, and back to the left.
Sniper 3, G-warm.
I guess he's doing his G-warm.
Outlaw 4-2, G-warm.
Make it kind of hard to fly formation in DCS with the AI because they can accelerate so quickly. I'm not going to use Afterburner to catch up with him. So we got 13.1. I'm not going to take a break to refuel just for a couple dogfights with this guy. We're closing now. range training officers, channel 1, we got him, and Blackjack is 14. So he's on 14 and I'm on 1.
Okay, Bozo, let's do the fence-in check. I'll call out the checklist items. Sidewinder tone.
Don't have a Sidewinder.
Radio and ICS volumes.
Go ahead and turn gesture back on for call outs.
Send. Roll SAS.
Roll SAS. Off.
On. Alpha computer circuit breaker in. Fuel switches. Auto, normal, bug out sick. Weapon select. Set. ACM guard. Up. Gun rate. High. Sidewinder coolant.
Again, I don't need any of this stuff today because I don't have any missiles.
On. Missile prep.
On, I guess.
Missile mode.
Normal.
Normal. Master arm. On. PDCP.
Don't know what that is.
Here.
Oh yeah, that's the
Mills.
data computer here. We're on here there. Mills, don't know.
153. G-suit.
Seems to be working.
Seat and rudder pedals. Adjusted. Lap belts. Secure. Loose gear. Stowed. Sniper 3, fence in.
What is it? India
142,
is
fence in.
steer point, surface target.
Roger, okay. Switching to surface target.
Saddle up on him.
We're closing.
Oh yeah, I see him. I think we're about to enter the range here in a minute. Once the range controller gives us the go-ahead, we're going to slide out to the north about 1.5 miles. We're both ready. I was going to say fights on and head-to-head at the merge. Pumped. Not too worried about this one. 1v1 versus an F5 shouldn't be too bad. If I lose, I got no excuse.
Outlaw 42, flight approaching blackjack. Switch button 14.
Already set.
2. Long check. 2. Blackjack, Outlaw 42, flight checking in this frag.
Outlaw 42, blackjack, radar contact. You are cleared at gate 4. Your discretion, altimeter 2963. Requesting squawk mode 3 tactical. Stand by for word.
Outlaw 42, Wilco, 2963.
All patrol in the clear. The range is not in use. How copy?
Outlaw 42, copy all.
Tomcats. It's nice of him that the nav light's on for me. Be good.
Sniper 3, let's check over show time on button 1.
Button 1 set.
Button 1, Sniper 3. Outlaw check. 2. Showtime, Outlaw 42, flight checking in this frag.
Outlaw 42, showtime. Your pod is tracking. Proceed to India.
Showtime, Outlaw 42, Wilco. Sniper 3, establish a separation of 1.5 miles, a beam on my right side, then call when ready.
Alright, here we go, boys.
Sniper 3 will go.
1.5 miles. Don't want to slow down too much. I want to keep the speed up, at least around 350 at the merge. I guess we're just going to guess what 1.5 miles is. Call that good.
320, keep it steady. 9 o'clock.
Sniper 3, speed and angels on the right.
23, 350.
Outlaw 42, speed and angels on the left. Recorders on, flights on.
Let's go.
11 o'clock. $12 o'clock.
I do get some vertical action going.
Speed 290. 6 o'clock. Passing 240. 5 o'clock. It's slow at 180.
I was down. I lost all my energy.
$220 knots. 30 knots. $12 o'clock high. $12 o'clock. Speeds 270. $12 o'clock low. $12 o'clock.
Where's he going?
Passing through 320. Looking good. He's on our nose. Closing. Speed 350. Speed 320. He's on our 12. Ain't gonna get better than that.
Come on, dude.
Turn her down.
We're on a 6.
There we
Shining
go.
chrome. Speed 350. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock.
Turn her down. 142, knock it off.
Get him.
Snap for 3, knock it off.
$300. 11 o'clock low. $260 knots. Passing 240.
Now proceed to India and rejoin at Angels 23.
Alright, we're already on India.
Three will
India's
go.
2 hour left. And we'll get back to Angels 2-3. I got 10,000 feet. One for me, boys. Didn't use too much fuel. At 10.7 now. Just double check that I'm going to the right one. India. Yes. Surface target. What is up, dude? Welcome and thank you.
This is it.
Just double check that we're actually going to the right one. Navigation, steer point, surface target.
You got it. Switching to our surface target.
We are participating in Top Gun. I just had my first fight, 1v1 versus an F5 Kisan now. And we're just climbing back up to 23,000 feet and going towards our steer point here to do fight number 2. Tomcats. 13 miles, 1.5.
There's a Bandit, 230, 15 miles.
That's him. He's right on the nose. I'm gonna find him. It is PvE. Do some PvP sometime. In fact, I might actually come back later today and do a little bit on a public server. Because we are not flying today in real life. Alright, there's 23. Level it off. back in India right now. I'm over India. 23,000. I'm supposed to check in with somebody. Buttons 1 and 14 are set. Oh, he's behind us. Are we fights on right now? Is he chasing me? Him.
Target, 8 miles.
It is.
That's a F5.
I don't know how I'm supposed to re-engage like for the next fight. Do I just attack him?
Target, 5 miles.
There we go. Oh, I gotta get back on his right side now. Okay, now we're figuring it out. Two miles, 150 knots closure.
Target, 2 miles. Fight's coming our way. 380. Good flying, we're on a 6.
Thank you, thank you.
He's ours now. Closing.
Inside a mile. Start slowing it down.
Three 340.
There he is. I'll call that saddled up. Check in.
$10 o'clock. Speed 310. Get him! He's in front of us! We're on a 6. Speed 340. $370.
Stay in formation. He like slams on the afterburners and tries to take off.
$400. You have him now. Closing.
Sniper 3, establish a separation of 1.5 miles abeam on my right side, then call when ready.
I feel like we're already at a mile and a half. Space it out a little bit. all that good enough. Let's go. Fight number 2.
10 o'clock.
Speed and Angels on the right.
Speed Angel on the left.
Outlaw 4-2, Speed and Angels on the left. Recorders on, fight's on.
Let's go.
$12 o'clock.
Ready to turn the afterburners on there. Just keep the speed
6
up as
o'clock.
fast as I can. Coming around the circle. No front quarter
12
kills, so
o'clock.
he can't shoot me nose to nose. Just keep his turn coming.
11 o'clock high.
He's going down.
4 o'clock low. He's coming left. 440. 6 o'clock. $11 o'clock. 480.
Yeah, I got super fast there.
420. 8 o'clock low. 370 knots.
Now I think we got him.
9 o'clock high. 12 o'clock high. 320, good. 12 o'clock
I
high.
can't take this shot. He's
There's
coming head on.
290. Speed 220. 7 o'clock low. There's 160.
Where'd he go? There he is.
12 o'clock low. 220. 290. 12 o'clock low. 11 o'clock high. 240 knots. 190, we're a little slow. 150 knots, we're very slow now. 2
Rudder.
o'clock low. Way too slow, man. Okay, man, 170, we're getting slow now. Oh, he's dead now.
Lock up. Lock up.
260.
Trigger down.
12 o'clock, you got it.
Outlaw 4-2, knock it off.
Got him.
220.
Back to 3, knock it off.
He's on our
Goes down.
12. Ain't gonna get better than that. Okay, bud, 180 now.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
5 o'clock high. He's coming left. Bandit is going down.
Phew. Not as fast as the first one.
Sniper 3, climb back to Angels 2-3 and rejoin over Coyote Bravo.
Coyote
Sniper 3
Bravo.
will
So
go.
that's towards Gate 4. Gate 4, Bighorn, initial points.
Hey, Rocco, switching to initial point.
Get that roll sass back on. And climb back to 23. What are we at? 16.5.
Says, yep, that's a friendly. Bra. 070, 16 miles, Angels 23.
That's our boy.
You spiked a friendly. That's a Tiger. Target,
Shut him up
9
now.
miles.
We're done with you, Jester. It's like 7 miles, and we're closing at like 50 knots. Not going to waste too much gas here because I only got 6.3 left. So we've used about 10,000 pounds since we took off. But most of that was just blasting afterburners through those 2 fights. Alright, he's orbiting up here. It should be easy to reform on him. Look at that beauty. Tomcats going fast with swept wings look awesome.
I completed my fence out checks.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Master arm off, fenced out. Sniper 3, fence out. 142, fence out.
Put the nose on the inside of this turn and we'll catch up a little faster. There we go. Yeah, this map looking good too. Real nice. Gotta start to slow it down because he's a little slow boy. I think 1 mile. Now we're inside 1 mile. There we go. Speed brake. Call that saddled up. Hell yeah, man. I mean, 90% of the reason that I was interested in airplanes as a kid was from the movie Top Gun, and it's pretty awesome to be able to basically recreate that now in DCS. I guess as best we can. And I won the first 2 fights, so let's keep that momentum going. Going, bud. SWAT cats was the coolest. I do not remember that one. Is that like Street Sharks? .7. We're gonna have enough to get back? I'm thinking
Nice
yes.
job, Sniper 3. We're complete. What's RTB? We'll leave the range at gate 4. Check your fuel state.
5.7.
Sniper 3 will go. Showtime. Outlaw 4-2 checking out. Outlaw 4-2 showtime. Copy that.
What's up, dude?
Sniper 3, go. Button 14. Button 14, Sniper 3. Contact Outlaw 4-2 flight. North 1 complete. Cleared to open Eldrin corridor.
Outlaw 4-2, flight deck, copy. You are cleared to RCB.
Our egress route is almost identical to our ingress route. We'll descend to 13,000 at RAM. Then check in with Nellis approach. We'll pass Apex at 4,500, then descend to 3,500 for the initial. We fly overhead the inside runway, then brake right to enter the pattern.
I'm following you, man. Nellis approach 6, button 6. There we go. Should have a debrief bio here in a second too. I'm gonna fall back a little bit in case he starts to make a right turn. You know, DCS AI things. Just like that. getting our sweet time on the way back here, but it's probably a good thing because I've only got, what are we at now, 5.3. Took off with 16, I think. Definitely use some juice dogfighting. Should have known that was coming. Really, I should probably be formed up on his left side because all these turns moving towards the south are going to be to the right. Move to the left side. Let's do the smart thing.
Your first mission is complete. I hope it was everything you expected and more. If the flight admin procedures seem complex, don't worry, you'll get used to them. You'll have a few relatively quiet minutes each flight while you RTB. Take the time to think about how it went and get yourself ready for the debrief. Think about your game plan. You should always start with a game plan, although you may have to adjust it once things get going. Was it a good plan? How well did you execute? How well did you adjust? In this 1v1, did Gator show you any surprises? The F-14 is superior to the F-5, but Gator knows a few tricks that can intimidate a Tomcat pilot in Rio if they don't have good SA of their own energy state and the F-5's energy. The debrief will go over the flight in detail, and will emphasize learning points. It's an extremely valuable part of the fighter tactics and weapons program.
I will say, since the last update now where Gesture gives you airspeed callouts, that makes things a lot easier, even though you can feel when you start to get into a low energy state, and you can see in your mirrors when you got the wings full forward. You've got your indicator down here to shoot too that shows the wing sweep, but it is nice having airspeed callouts. Probably more so for the high end of things. I mean, you get your best turn rate around 350, 375, but like I started to black out a few times there. Probably should have known better to pull some of the throttle when we had the nose down. But we won both of our fights, so that's something. Tell him to get on the tower frequency 2. No, wrong one, wrong button. Arc select channel. Next channel 1 through 5 and channel 4. So now we got approach and I believe tower on our comms. Still should have the Las Vegas or the Nellis. TACAN 54 miles.
Outlaw 42 flight, switch button 6.
Already did.
Dash 2, button 6.
Always got to stay one step ahead of the flight.
Outlaw check.
2.
2. Nellis approach, Outlaw 42 flight at Ram with Bravo for the overhead full stop. Outlaw 42, radar contact. Continue inbound Nellis, expect the overhead runway 21 left. Contact Nellis Tower at the initial. Outlaw 42, we'll go.
Got to read back your instructions, bud. Also, geez, good luck flying this by myself next time. I have so little situational awareness right now. All I know is that now we're 35 miles out from Nellis, and it's straight off the nose. Review those departure procedures for next time.
approach. Comanche 558 at Papa, 3 miles south of Ball Alpha. Requesting Bravo transition to Los Vegas Airport. Good to go. X11 Nellis approach, roger. Reduce speed, maintain 250 knots.
That's pretty cool, but probably pretty quiet for Las Vegas approach frequency. Although, we are on UHF, and most civilian aircraft would be on VHF, so maybe not. Although you'd still be able to hear the controllers. I think they broadcast on both. Don't know how that works. I think I can see Vegas skyline right there, and there's the runways. Miles. It's cool that you can actually see the skyline. I guess that pops in or loads in a lot before the rest of the random buildings and stuff in the city, and it's neat. .7 on the fuel. Coming in kind of hot too. We're below 10,000 and going 350 indicated. Maybe there's no speed limit for military aircraft, or maybe it's just on this corridor. So I'm going to give you an FAA number to call when we land.
Two flight switch tower.
Already did.
2 switching.
Put mine on ground though. Tower.
Check.
2.
2. Nellis tower. Outlaw 42 flight initial for the overhead. Outlaw 42 Nellis tower cleared for the overhead. Runway 21 left. Outlaw 42. 2. Go echelon left.
Already in. Just kept turning across my nose without warning. There's 3,500. Wait for him to brake and I'll extend just a little bit past him. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. How much bigger our shadow is than his, too. A tiny little airplane. .300 knots. He's braking. or beam him, we'll start that turn. Let's go.
Alpha 42, a beam. Stop. Alpha 42, clear to land 21 left, wind 210 at 10. Alpha 42, clear to land 21 left.
Brakes. 250 gear. This is Top Gun training mission. It was our first hop against the F5, and we won.
20 degrees, auto.
Flaps.
Gear.
DLC. Gear.
3 down and locked. Flaps.
Full.
Full down. DLC. Engaged. Hook. Up after 3, a beam, gear, full stop. Sniper 3, cleared to land, 21 left. Sniper 3, cleared to land, 21 left. Harness locked. Locked. Speed brakes. Out. Brakes. Brakes checked. Accumulator pressure up. Spoiler brake selected. Fuel. Checked.
Low. Training mission, yeah, it's Top Gun. It's this Zone 5 campaign. Race down there, that's neat. Center line at, man, come on.
Sniper 3, Nellis Tower, clear the active via Bravo, contact ground.
Clear the active via Bravo, contact ground.
Sniper 3 will go.
Already on button 3, which is for ground, so all I can do is get past the hold shorts, and we'll contact them, tell them we're off at Bravo.
Alpha 42, Nellis Tower, clear the active via Bravo, contact ground. Alpha 42, will go.
There we go. Clear with the hold shorts.
Nellis ground, Sniper 3, clear of active on Bravo. Sniper 3, Nellis ground, taxi Bravo to Foxtrot.
Bravo, Foxtrot, park.
Taxi Bravo. Positive Foxtrot, Sniper 3.
Mission complete. We won our first 2 fights. Op number 1 was a success. Eventually. Your final. That is cool. You can see the Vegas skyline in the background there. That's it, boys. We won. We won. I think the next one is also a 1v1 engagement, but I don't think it's against the F5. I think it's actually against the F-16. So I watched a video with Greg from Reflected Simulations, and I believe he said that what they did is you take off with the C, so you get the nice new models for the F-16s that DCS has, and then they get deactivated once they're airborne. They take a separate route to the range, and then they replace it with an A model, which has the AIM-120s. So I'm not going to have to fight spam rams with the F-14. Anyway, guys, that was super fun. Super impressed so far. Obviously, Reflected did a ton of work for this. I mean, I don't know how hard it would have been to do all the radio frequencies and stuff as it is. That's pretty impressive. Hopefully I'll be able to figure out the ingress and egress procedures for the next one, because all I was doing was following our wingman there, who I beat. No big deal. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next time. We love ya. Peace.